Hey guys, let me just pin this comment. Hi guys, welcome in. I'll just wait for Sandy a few seconds. Hope you're doing well. If you've got questions for him, please, there's actually a question thing at the bottom of the screen. So if you have a question, leave it in there and we'll try and answer it when we get to the end of the chat. Hope you're doing well. Yes. Sandy, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate your time.
No problem, no problem.
How's it going? How have you been? It's been, you just went back to training, right?
Yeah, we started last Monday with training in small
Okay.
groups. So it was amazing feeling to touch the pitch again and
Right.
to play some football again, man.
You must have been a little bit rusty after how long? I mean, it was over a month, right? You weren't training.
Um, yeah, I think I've been home 7 weeks.
Wow, so
So
a long time.
yeah, I was a bit rusty in the beginning, but
I bet.
after after 30 minutes, I got my groove again.
Felt good again, yeah. So
Yeah.
again, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. We'll kind of go a little bit through your kind of journey to becoming a professional.
Okay.
Kind of how you came through at Anderlecht, I believe,
Yeah.
and then obviously signing for Genk and making your debut, etc. Um, Also, wanted to touch on kind of it's pretty unique how I think your dad was born in the UK, right? But he's
Yeah.
of Irish descent. So, but your
Mhm.
mum's of Indonesian descent. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
So you could play for Belgium, Republic of Ireland, Indonesia, England, Switzerland,
Yeah.
or the Netherlands, who you represented at youth level. So that's pretty. I don't know if there's a stat checker out there, but that's like I don't know if there's any other pro footballer that could play for. Is that one, two, three, four, five, six different countries you're eligible to play for?
Yeah, I know, man.
That's
Especially here, like in Belgium, like in the press and everybody, is the most common story coming forward if they're talking about me or if somebody hears my name. So,
yeah,
and even like when I meet people, they always ask about these nationalities. So
right,
it's a big story.
for
It's a big
sure.
mix, but yeah, I'm happy to have all
For
these roots.
sure.
So
It's
it's
obviously
nice.
because it's very unique and it's like obviously
Yeah,
you're Belgian and you were born in Belgium, but your name's very British.
yeah,
So
true.
they must be like, how does it work? But yeah, very interesting story. So we'll start. You can start before you went to Anderlecht if you like, and kind of just talk me through how your experience was as a young player coming through,
Yeah.
and then we'll touch on kind of how you played for the Dutch youth teams. But yeah, just let me know how you kind of became a football player originally and how you kind of stemmed all the way through Anderlecht. How was it?
I mean, like when I was younger, my parents had a squash club because my dad played squash. So my
Okay.
first sport was actually tennis. So I was
Okay.
playing a lot of tennis. But then
Interesting.
you go to school, you get some friends, and then you play some football at school. And then
Yeah.
I decided to join them in a team. It's called Huilar. It's like a local small club.
Okay.
And yeah, it went good. I had a fun time with them, and we played some tournaments, and we played against Anderlecht. And yeah, we won that game. It was the final also, and me and one of my best mates were like the best players of the tournament. So they invited me to come and do a trial. So I
Okay.
went for like I think a week or 2 weeks for a trial, and with my mate. And for him, it was too difficult to do a combination with school and everything. So
Okay.
I gotta say, my dad he pushed me to take this challenge because he found some information, and it was the biggest club of Belgium. So
Yeah.
I said,
Huge.
yeah, why not? So let's do it. So
So the way
I
you got
got
seen by Anderlecht was you played against them in a tournament. They kind of
yeah
scouted you, and then you went on trial.
yeah that's
So
how it
again,
happened.
it
Yeah.
wasn't handed to you. You kind of were playing against them, and you did well, and you got seen.
Yeah, and I could have also said no. I just want to stay at
Yeah.
relax this local club just with my friends.
And how
But
old
it
were
was
you at that time?
I think I was like 6 to 7 years
So
old.
you're really young, yeah.
Yeah. So then I decided to go, and it was quite tough because I speak normally Dutch, and they
Hmm.
all in Anderlecht. It's in Brussels. They all speak French,
Oh
and it
wow.
was a bit difficult for me. But I kind of find my way in it, and I started to perform weekly. And I felt also this it's a nice level to play with, to compete also with quality players. And I mean, I
Yeah.
spent it like 10 years. Yeah, 10 years I spent in Anderlecht in the youth. I played with some great players. I also had some nice tournament wins. I mean, like we
Nice.
were in the youth, we were like the best team to play in tournaments, and we beat teams like if you see like Ajax, like some big teams
So you
on
were playing
tournaments.
against all the
So
other all the other European
yeah,
academies.
yeah, you got like Chelsea passing by, you have Paris Saint-Germain. Even there was a tournament with Real Madrid.
So you
Even
played against all those boys. Wow.
yeah, Zidane was there with his son who was playing
No
for
way.
that team.
Nice.
So
Good
I
story.
mean, yeah, it's amazing experience, and I mean, like also with Anderlecht, there was a project that they did a nice combination with school.
Yeah.
So it was a whole project about having 2 sessions a day. Like I had to
From a
get the
young
full.
age, you were doing 2 sessions a day.
Yeah, I was playing on the 12. So I was 11 years old, 12 years old,
Yeah.
and like a day is really just like 3 hour lesson, then 1 hour and a half training session,
Yeah.
then again 4 hours some lesson after lunch, and
Wow.
then go in the evening again for a training session. And I got home like 9:30, and my dad picked me up.
So it's
And
very
not
full on. Yeah.
every day, weekend games. So yeah, it's quite a tough period, but I mean like all the sacrifices at the end
And at what
are good.
point, playing for Anderlecht in the academy teams, was there a certain age where you thought, I think I can make a career in the game, or did that kind of come later on down the road, or
Well,
did
when
you
I was
always just
playing,
want to be a footballer?
yeah, of course. I mean, there was nothing else on my mind than becoming a football player. I think
Yeah,
a lot of football players nowadays also have it in their head.
of
Because if
course.
I would not be a football player, I would have no idea what I would be doing at
I
the
think that's the
moment.
same for a lot of
So
players. Yeah,
yeah, so I also had this determination of just getting into the league, getting on the first level. That was my
yeah,
most motivation. I found it out of that. But there was a moment that I was always the captain of the team. So I mean that's a kind of
that's a big
also
deal.
a big deal that
Yeah,
coaches and even the club believes in me. I was playing also for the where we're gonna talk after with the youth national team of the
yeah, with
Dutch,
Holland. We'll talk
the
about how that
Holland.
came about in a little bit.
Yeah. So and I with them also, then I felt like okay, I'm doing good, but I need to keep up. And then yeah, like I had a moment that I was thinking, yeah, I'm gonna make it. And if I look back to the team where I played with in Anderlecht all these 10 years, I think there are only still 2 or 3 players on the highest level.
Yeah, it's
So
still so. Like you said, there it's a
yeah,
good point to touch on that. Um, the percentages of making it at the top level they're so slim. Even
yeah,
like you said, you've played at Anderlecht, who's the top, the top
yeah,
team in Belgium at the
yeah,
youth levels, and a huge club, and still only two or three of the academy boys you came through with actually made the grade.
yeah,
So it's good to kind of touch on that and just show you how tough it really is to make it.
yeah. That's true.
So, let,
That's true.
so let's kind of move on to how did it firstly come about that you ended up playing for Holland? Because like you said, you could have played for multiple youth national teams, or
Hmm.
when you were younger, and now even. How did it come about that it was Holland that you ended up playing for, and was there other opportunities to play for other nationalities as well, other nations as well?
Yeah, so I started playing with Anderlecht, and then I was thinking about national team because
Yeah,
in my team a lot of players went to the Belgian national team,
yeah.
and yeah, me and my mom reached out to the Dutch national team because I have a Dutch passport. I only have a Dutch passport at
Okay.
this moment. So we just contacted them to see if they're interested, and they came and watched a game, and yeah, I played a good game, and they invited me to the next selection, and since then I think I started from under 14, 15, and then I got every season, every year I got selected, and
Yeah, all the way
it was
through.
also my grandfather who I talked with about, yeah, a lot about football, and he also helped me decide to choose for the Netherlands first. Also, yeah, he's from Indonesia, so he also told me about never forget about Indonesia if you would not make the national team of the Netherlands at the
Right.
highest level.
That's a good option as well.
So yeah, I just kept on performing, trying to get every selection, every season, every 3 4 months, and yeah, I went a long way. But at the end, I mean, yeah, I didn't make it to the highest level. And to be realistic, I don't see it happening also now. So I'm trying to find out which other countries I could play for. And
Right.
for the moment, it's most Indonesia who comes to eye, even knowing that before there was also Republic Island and Belgium.
I'm sure there's
And I
still a
was,
chance for that to happen. You're still very young. I mean, you could
yeah,
have
that's
a
true.
couple of good seasons in Belgium, and Belgium comes knocking. You never know.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
and it's
But
good to it's good
yeah,
to have those options. You know,
yeah, that's true.
for sure. So that was what I wanted to ask was there any difference in kind of the style of coaching or the philosophy behind how the team was going to play in Holland versus playing in the Belgian youth teams? Was there a difference in the two?
Yeah, a big difference.
What was the differences?
Certainly in the youth, I felt a big difference. I think
Really?
even if you look to the league of the Dutch league, it's a lot of proper football over the ground. Like
Yeah.
building up from behind, all on technique, all on just on playing football.
Oh,
So
football. Yeah.
yeah, so I guess when I was playing at the national team, I was playing central defender. I think
Hmm.
the build-up always started with me, and I think you know him, Nathan Ake
Yeah,
from
Nathan Aki. Yeah, plays for
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
Yeah,
Yeah, good player. Very good
so
player.
yeah, very good player. So it helped me a lot to use technically my build-up to see which situations. But when I was playing with Anderlecht, it was totally different because also we were the better team, but it was more like individual players who, with a lot of qualities, who make the difference. We
Yeah,
try to
get the
play
ball to.
football, but if it doesn't work, we rather take a long ball or we rather try to push a line forward. And that was a big difference with the Netherlands because with the Netherlands we try to play in every situation to come
Right.
out in a football kind of way, and
So
that was a
was that
big
quite
difference.
challenging for you to kind of play a certain way at your club level, and then when you went to the national team, you had to kind of. I mean, you likely you're under more pressure playing that way in the with the Dutch team. Was
Yeah.
it tough to adapt to that at first, or did you kind of find it kind of easy to settle into it?
In the beginning, it was quite difficult, quite
Yeah, it
tough
must have been.
for me.
Yeah,
I remember my first couple sessions. I was also a bit surprised about how the mentality and how the people are communicating there in Holland because they can have
really,
of a big mouth,
really.
And in Belgium, everybody's quite easy. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was,
So that was different as well.
yeah, that was also a big difference.
Yeah,
But when yeah, I had a good relation with the coach of the Netherlands. So he took me aside and we used a lot of video images to
yeah.
show what he expects from me.
Okay, so he
And
went through
that
footage with you to show you kind of what he
yeah,
wanted. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, a lot of footage, and I appreciate all the help he gave me in that situation. And when I moved on to Genk, I felt in Genk it was kind of the same football way like with the Netherlands.
Okay, so
So
you kind of settled in better there.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
nice.
yeah, it settled in a bit better there, and yeah, it helped a lot. And I mean, I can say thank you to every coach who helped me out because
For
everybody gave
sure.
me in a certain way some elements to become the player I am today. And
Yeah, and
but
you took it with
that's
you. I
it.
was going to say, I'm sure it must have actually to be able to play those different styles with different coaching styles and different voices
Yeah.
and different ways of playing, especially as a defender. Playing
Hmm.
out the back like that is very different. So it must have
Yeah.
really helped you. And I'm sure maybe that played into you becoming a pro so early because you're probably well rounded. You knew how to play
Yeah.
a few different styles, and obviously the Dutch style is a really prominent style that they play nowadays in the pro game. So
Yeah.
let's fast forward to 2012. You became a professional for Genk at
Yeah.
17, and in the same
Yeah.
year you won the Euros with Holland. So that must have been a massive
Yeah.
year for you. Um,
Yeah.
just talk me through that, how it was to win that tournament, and then later in the year make your pro debut for Genk.
So yeah, I moved from Anderlecht to Genk, signed a
Yeah,
contract there, and I started also training a lot with the first team. So that was a nice experience, and I kept
Yeah.
on playing with the national team also. So then the big tournament was coming, and I remember like one of my good friends, Siebe Schrijvers, was playing for Belgium, and we were the same situation at Genk, like first team, second team,
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to settle in. And yeah, we were in the same group, so yeah, we went to the tournament, and it's amazing as a young player to be able to play like a
I bet.
European Championship. I mean, I played everything until the European Championship, but then the coach made a decision of not starting me in the couple games
Oh, really?
because he rather have like a center defense of PSV Eindhoven who played regularly together also at their club,
Okay.
of course.
Like a partnership who knew each other.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
because it was a big deal because we wanted to. The last year they also won the championship, so we wanted to get the double.
Yeah.
So okay, I meant I'm a team player, so if the coach decides that's the best for the team, I'm just gonna be ready.
Yeah.
So I was able
Great
to,
attitude.
yeah, I was able to come in the first game, the last 15, 17 minutes. So I played some minutes, but
You still played, yeah, but you weren't
yeah,
starting. How
no,
was
but
that to kind of deal with? I'm sure, obviously every player wants to start the games. Was it hard to kind of take mentally, or did you just kind of take it in your stride and, like you said, you just want what's best for the team anyway?
yeah, because I know I've been with those players from let's say under 15, so we've been
Yeah.
3 years together. So
Mm.
they also know my qualities. The coaches also know my qualities. And of course, I played all the qualification games. We won also those games to be able to be on the big stage. And as a
Yeah.
player, you wanna be part of the team playing on the big stage. But
Of course.
if a coach, I mean, like if the coach has the respect to come to me and tell me why he's making the decision, then I'm like the kind of team player who can accept that decision. If
Yeah,
you know what I mean, because
for
I
sure.
don't want to be the one in the group also being like with my head down, like saying no. I want to be there
Yeah.
also to support the team, and it's also for yourself because let's say the guy gets injured after 5 minutes. If
Gotta
you're
be
with your
ready.
head down, you got to be
Yeah,
ready.
no,
So that's
exactly.
how I was seeing it, and I was waiting for every time a chance and a chance. And okay, I was lucky in the first game to get some minutes. But okay, yeah, after the end, if you have this experience of winning the European Championship when you're 16, 17, it
Exactly.
was amazing feeling, and it was a great time altogether. And on the way
Yeah.
back, I got a call of the head coach, Mario Been. He called me at the airport when I arrived in Amsterdam with the team, and he asked me if I wanted to do like the preparation and come and join the first team permanently. So yeah, I mean that
Wow.
was on 2 3 days. Also two big news for me as a football player.
Huge, huge, huge news.
So I was so happy about it, and I knew I was ready because when I was
Yeah.
in the training with them the season before, I could handle the level, but
You
I
felt
knew
good.
there was still a lot of steps to make, and be able
Yeah.
to train with them and be part of the team is going to help me also by just communicating with players who has done the same journey as me to
Definitely.
know how everything works, and then I was playing a lot. I was training, and then I was a lot on the bench, and yeah, same a bit with the European Championship, a bit
Yeah.
waiting for your chance. This
So
was
it
a
wasn't
kind
it
of
wasn't
different
like you were never
situation.
around the squad. You were always kind of training with them before, so
Yeah,
you felt ready. So it wasn't. I was going to
yeah,
ask because obviously you were so young, but it wasn't like it was kind of a daunting experience. You felt ready, and you were already integrated into the team and into the
yeah.
first team. So that's good to know.
Yes,
So
because also Genk is a team with a lot of young players trying to bring the youth players into the first league, first team
was
to be
that
able
part of
to
the
play.
reason that you moved there from Anderlecht?
Most of it for sure
Because you
because
felt a better route to the first team?
yeah, because I was like in the national team of the Netherlands, and the
Yeah,
guys of my age playing for the Belgium team when they turned 16, they received all a contract deal and never talked to me about a contract deal. So we just went to ask why not. Why can't
yeah,
I'm also playing a national team play. I'm the captain of the team. How come
yeah.
I don't receive a contract? And they decided they didn't want to give me a contract. So then I told them, okay, look, I'm just going to look for options. And the two biggest options was PSV Eindhoven, who knew me from the national teams, of course,
Yeah.
or Racing Genk, where I was able to sign a contract because PSV was without contract and Genk was with contract and training and playing with the second team and
So
training
it's
with
just
the
a better
first team.
option for you. Genk was the best option.
Yeah, I had a good feeling also with the talks. I mean, everybody was there, even the head coach was there, and I just had a better feeling, and I just said, let's do it, you know. And it's also a kind of my dad said it's a kind of a security. He signed a contract of 2 3 years.
Yeah,
You know
pressure
where
off.
you're gonna be. You're gonna
Yeah.
where you're gonna be. So, and at the end, I mean, if I can make my official debut at Anderlecht with Genk when I'm
Yeah,
17,
I was going to say, so the first
yeah.
game, which
So
is kind of a nut story, you can talk about full circle, your first game for Genk, your first actual professional game, you
yeah,
come on against Anderlecht, who you'd been at for,
yeah,
8 years prior. So how was that to actually cross the white line and, you're a professional player?
yeah.
What was that like and how was the first experience of playing a professional game? You're still 17 years old.
Yeah, it was amazing, you know, because I was going to the game. It was to the stadium where I used to go and
Yeah,
sit every week and watch the games for
must have been
Anderlecht. And
surreal for you, different.
yeah, it was amazing. And knowing that you're getting minutes and coming into the pitch and making
Yeah,
your official debut is was an amazing feeling. And also knowing your parents were there watching you and just
yeah,
in the same place as you used to sit
yeah.
was amazing.
Actually,
And
to see you play a
yeah,
professional
so
must have been amazing for you as well. I bet. Were you nervous coming on because you came on as a sub, right?
yeah, correct. Yeah, I came on the sub, and I think there was 5 to 6 minutes to play, and I guess we were leading the game, or it was a draw,
Oh yeah,
and yeah, I was really nervous.
I'd have been
I was
nervous. Can't
yeah,
imagine.
because I mean, like coming in as a striker or like even a midfield, it's all right. Doesn't but as a defender, knowing it's very important to keep the score.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get extra nervous, of course, but I mean, I guess the nervous and the attention, I mean, how you say it, the adrenaline to
yeah.
get
The
on the
adrenaline
pitch,
took over.
it will help you also to win over that stress. So
Yeah,
that's
any
what
doubt.
happened
Yeah,
with me, and I found some nice pictures also from my debut, and I was just thrilled to go home and talk with my parents on the phone about it, and I wanted to have more, of course, you know, because
for sure.
that feeling it was amazing, and you want to get more and more about it. So I kept yourself as a football player, as a young football player, kept on pushing, kept on asking coaches, players, like, what can I improve, what can I do better,
Yeah,
and that's how it started all, and. Couple of weeks later, I could have started my first official game was in a cup, and yeah, that was even better because you were 90 minutes on the pitch, you're winning
yeah.
6-0, so that was also a nice start.
After that, you must have felt like, yeah, I've put my feet on the ground now. I'm a professional and I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah, it's true.
That's awesome. Just want to quickly touch on kind of for the people watching, kind of what you've been doing at the moment before you went back to train.
Yeah.
What kind of things you were doing to stay fit? Because there's a lot of players out there now that are still not able to go back to their clubs and do much. So what kind of stuff were you doing to stay? I see you always on. I don't know if you're on bike rides or I see you on your runs every day.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, Pretty there, really nice place.
yeah. I
Um,
know.
Really
Yeah,
nice.
I tried to keep busy. I mean, it was 7 weeks. The first 3 weeks, I was quite motivated because I mean, I had a feeling we were gonna be able to play some games. So
Yeah, you didn't
I
know how long it
mean,
would take to go back.
no, of course not. And we
No.
get a program from the club about running.
Yeah.
So I tried to find a nice schedule to be able to do running in the morning and
Yeah.
do some power training in the afternoon.
Okay.
So I wake up, I go for a run, I get some breakfast, I get a rest, like recuperation, do some stretching or yoga, and
Yeah.
try to do a kind of power training in the afternoon. Could be legs, could be core, could be upper body. I took a lot of stuff from the club just home
Yeah.
because I don't have anything at home.
Right.
Because I
Also,
used
you
to go
took
to
some
the
equipment that you could
yeah
use.
equipment
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
everything. Because I used to go to the gym just here, like 5 minutes from here, every evening with a teammate.
Yeah.
No, when it was a normal situation.
Yeah.
So I tried to get some equipment here, and I got also like a spinning bike.
Right.
So I tried to find a nice because you can't every day do the same. And I
Right.
mean, the first 3 weeks was going good, but to be honest, I mean, like after when the fourth week started, my motivation was going
Down.
going down and down and
Yeah.
down. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so happy that I can be able to go to the club now and do some training.
Yeah.
I really feel bad also for guys who are also professional players who play a lot of sport to be able to just stay home, because it's really a difficult situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm just trying to stay fit because
Yeah.
it's not a vacation yet.
No.
I have a feeling my vacation is only when the club or when somebody tells me you have now 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off,
Right. Right.
and now it's just keeping fit and also just because you start training again, the chance of coming back of training will come back. So you
Yeah.
need to be able to be fit because you don't want to come back in 1 week and then get injured again. So
Right.
that's also the most important of going for those runs, doing some power training, some yoga or some stretching.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of my program
So
during this
the most
quarantine.
important thing really is just to make sure that you have some kind of regimen. I think, like
Yeah,
myself, I always, every morning I go out and I'll walk and I'll run, then I'll eat breakfast and, come and do some work. And then I'll do the same in the evening. I think it's just
yeah,
important to get outside really and get
yeah.
yourself moving.
Also,
How
that's
easy is
true.
it just to sit in the house all day and, play video
Yeah,
games or watch movies? It's so easy to get
yeah,
out of a regimen. And once you get in a bad routine, it's hard to shake it out.
yeah. That's
So for
true.
all those people stuck not being able to play at the minute, I think it's so important just to get outside and just to do something to keep yourself moving.
Yeah, that's true. That's how I see it too.
Yeah, for sure. Did you ever have any kind of hard times in your career? Obviously, probably at the Anderlecht time where you weren't going to get a contract must have been quite tough.
Yeah.
And how did you overcome the hardships that you had? Have you ever had any injuries, or what springs to mind when I ask like if you've had anything hard that you've gone through during your career?
Um, I think also when I was younger, nowadays when you're different, like I have Indonesian roots, so I look
Yeah,
different than the normal Belgium guys.
yeah, very rare.
Then I got a lot of picked on also in my team or even in the opposite team
Mm.
about this Chinese guy or this or that. So
Oh,
I
really?
mean that was also quite tough to be able to
Yeah,
be on the pitch because you want to come on the pitch and enjoy your football, enjoy to play.
yeah,
So that was also yeah, it was tough to deal with that,
absolutely.
but I just try to do it on the pitch, just show my qualities, and if you win the game, just walk off the pitch knowing that you won the game and like
Yeah,
you were the better team or
you just
something.
let your feet do the talking.
Yeah, so there's no reason of reacting on it.
For
Maybe
sure.
nowadays when somebody talks to me, I react on the pitch though. But when I was younger, I was a nice guy.
But that's it's
I'm still a
important.
nice guy, but still,
Important to touch on that though, because there's a lot of kids that are from
yeah,
different ethnic backgrounds, especially in America. You've got kids from all over the place. It's a melting
yeah,
pot.
it's true.
So it's
But
important
I
to
have a feeling nowadays it's nicer, cooler to be different than just
yeah, and
a
I think
normal
more
player.
people embrace it now. But
Yeah,
definitely people will get picked on. When I was growing up, for sure as well.
yeah,
But it's good, like you said, not to react and just let your feet do the talking. One thing I
yeah,
always used to like when there was anything like that was just being like, what's the score? And you can't
yeah,
say anything to that if you're winning the game.
yeah. That's true. That's true. And then of course,
Um,
like you said, the contract situation. I mean, I
yeah,
felt a good connection with the club Anderlecht, and I wanted to be able to because I had also a feeling they believe in me. But knowing you from the let's say 7 international don't get a contract proposition, and yeah, if you look back to who got a contract, I think there's maybe only one who is now on professional level. So yeah, it was a pity, but I found a good way of getting to Genk and
well, you
made
took
my
the
debut
right.
there. So
Ultimately, you made the right decision. You've been at Genk since
yeah,
you've been there for 8 years now, right? So
yeah,
you got that stability you were looking for. So it was a good decision. And
yeah.
you've proved them wrong. They should have given you a contract, which is always must feel good as well.
Yeah, but it's mostly because of I think everything I got today is because of my parents and especially my dad also, like
Yeah,
giving all this time of picking me up, bringing me. It's
yeah.
a lot of
We all owe a lot to our parents for sure, no
yeah.
question. Um, what was the best advice you were ever given when you were kind of coming through as a player, or even from a coach today, that you've kind of taken with you, that you kind of rely on?
Um,
Anything spring to mind?
there's a lot of stuff, but I think the most important is just to hard work, like
Work hard.
because there's a lot of players who are so talented who were not able to work hard, you know, and yeah, every player who is on the highest level, they maybe not the most technical player, they're not the best player, but I believe they worked really hard, just like me, to be able to get on that level. So
Yeah,
put the work in, like even now with quarantine, put the work in, keep on performing because I mean, you can do some work for 1 week, but that's not going to make yourself a better player
got to
in
be
1 week.
consistent with it.
It's a long process to be
Yeah, it
able to
is.
become a better player. So you need to keep on working, keep on grinding every day, every week, and see the result in maybe in the next couple of weeks or the next month. You know, only
Definitely.
then you can become better. And that's one of the advices, and I'm trying to follow it up because I try to keep every time some 2 sessions a day, what I'm used to also from in the youth,
Yeah,
and that's how I see it, and also just that you need to sacrifice a lot, especially when you're a young player,
yeah,
because
for sure.
everybody wants to have a lot of players want to have everything, if you know what I mean. They
Yeah,
want to be able to go to birthdays, but missing training because of going to a birthday or hanging out with friends. So
a lot of sacrificing.
some a lot of sacrificing also, and knowing like you can go a night out, but yeah, should be at training tomorrow, so you can't do it, you know. So that's also a thing that people don't know about it, and that's
Yeah,
something also very important what I got with me.
for sure. Working hard and making sure that you're prepared to make the sacrifices that you need to make
Yeah,
to reach the top
yeah.
level. Um, let's talk a little bit about kind of your future aspirations. What you're still 25, so you're
Yeah.
still young. You got a long career in front of you. Do you have any aspirations to maybe play in England or play in Holland or play in Spain? Would you like to go to a big, I say big, Genk's a big club. Would you like to go to another club that what you think would progress your career at any stage, do you think?
Yeah, of course. Um, but yeah, for the moment, I'm trying to see what's realistic possible.
Yeah,
And like those competition, like when you're young, you want to play in the Premier League, of course. But
of course.
realistically, it's going to be a tough way to get there, of course.
Yeah,
But I'm somebody also like I find it also in my when I travel, I like also to get some new experiences. So I'm quite open for any league for any team in a new country in a new competition just to also find out and experience if there is a difference what I'm having nowadays,
yeah,
you know, like competitions like in Holland or like in Italy or even like Switzerland or even the MLS is a competition I
yeah,
also
yeah.
really like to follow.
Very
So
good.
it's growing as a competition, and that's something for the next step, trying to get out. Yeah, not to get out in a bad way, but trying to change competition
Yeah, like
from
spread
Belgium.
spread your wings and see where you can
Yeah,
go, for
because
sure.
I've
And
been quite
Belgium's
a
a
long
very good
time in
league, so
Belgium.
yeah,
Yeah,
you've
it's a
been
good
there a
league.
long time, but always good to have kind of an open mind, and
Yeah,
it's definitely good to do that.
and
What
also
would you
to get in the
say?
national team.
Oh yeah, so do you know?
Yeah,
So would you want to get back in the Dutch setup, or you said you're looking into Indonesian national
yeah,
team? I suppose it's just if they come knocking, isn't it?
yeah. That's true because since 2 years I had a lot of contact with them, and yeah, they really would like to get me into the national team. So I mean, if you look to my Instagram or my social media, I get a lot of messages and a lot of people from Indonesia
Yeah, people. I
also
had questions.
wanting.
Questions. Are you going to play for Indonesia? Are you going to play for Indonesia? I had a lot of them.
Yeah, so I mean, I really appreciate all the support and all the messages
Yeah,
they send me. So it would be just amazing just to give something back by playing, yeah, playing for the national team. And
for sure.
it's also the federation and the country what attracts me the most from the options I have at the moment. So
Nice,
I'm gonna try, and we're gonna see if it's gonna work out or not.
nice. And maybe we'll be playing for Indonesia in the near future.
Yeah, you come and visit.
Yeah, that'd be good as
Uh,
well. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Like I said, if you ever come to the US, we'll train together and we'll get
yeah,
together
cool.
for sure. All right, what we'll do is do you see the little question box on the bottom there? Can you see that where it says 22, or is it just on
20,
mine?
22 no.
Okay, so I have the
I just see
question box.
people putting stuff in it, and yours also.
So if I'll ask you a couple of questions first
Okay.
from the people asked in the story, And then then I'll press that one after, and we'll look for the questions that people have actually asked while we've been chatting. Okay, first one. What are the biggest things kind of throughout your career that you feel like you've had to develop the most, from sort of being a 17-year-old pro to being 25 years old now? How would you say you've developed as a player? Hard question.
I think it's a good question. Yeah, you have
Really
some
good
good
question.
questions.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I was 17, I was still a young player, so I was playing more football like I'm used to in the youth.
Yeah.
So I was still like, I didn't feel that. I feel bad when you lose, of course, as a player, you want to win every game. But
Of
in
course.
the youth, it's more about getting yourself to become a better player. But when you're on the highest level as a pro, it's not about getting it's about getting a better player, but it's also about money, because if I
Yeah.
make a mistake, I'm going to lose money for all my teammates. So of
Right.
course those players, they made to me like it's a man game now.
Of course, you're
You know,
playing
you
for
don't
stuff.
have, yeah, you're gonna play for something. You
Yeah.
wanna get as high as in the league. You wanna win a cup. You wanna, there's ambitious. There's the achievements. There's something you wanna get to. So
Yeah.
I think that's something also what started to grow and grow every year to me as a player. And
It meant
I
more
was,
to you. You had to play for,
yeah,
you if you lose a game, then, there's players that are
yeah,
it's gonna hurt them and their families. So you're really playing for your
yeah,
livelihoods. Yeah. Which
and
is not like
also,
that when you're younger. Or maybe you don't think about it like that when you're younger.
yeah, and also just also in training that, yeah, that everybody's pushing each other to reach another level. And
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes you also feel like I'm having a bad day. I'm not feeling like training, but even then, what I see now is like how much I work in training now is, if I would do it if I was 17 maybe, then I would maybe even be a better player. So
Yeah. So
I'm
mindset, you
always,
talk about the mindset of
yeah,
how to
mindset
go into
also.
training, and every single day
Yeah,
you're trying to improve, where maybe you're younger,
yeah,
there's not that much emphasis on actually performing at a high level every day. It's kind of maybe going through the motions a bit more. That's important to touch on for sure. So
yeah,
you've matured. You've matured, and you've been
yeah,
like, every single day is a day to get better as
yeah.
you got older.
True.
That's
Good
awesome, man.
question. Good start.
That was a good question. What's the most difficult thing you've had to deal with as a pro footballer?
Um, yeah, I believe like what I said before is those sacrifices
Yeah,
for me
make
as a football
it.
player.
Yeah,
But also, I think also, no, I rather say the media, all
really.
of the media, because you say stuff, you out yourself on the social media in a kind of way, and they always will find a way of trying to do it negative or break it. Or I think that's the toughest in the football, because
Yeah. How do
it's the
you
media, it's the
how do
media against
you
you.
yeah, how do you kind of black that out? Does it affect you in any way, or do you kind of have to just put it to the back of your mind and not really think about it?
No, I don't really think about it
Yeah,
since I've been since my 20 years old, maybe even younger. I just blocked out what people think about, and I
right.
only really listen to people who meant the best with me, like the coaches or teammates and my family and friends.
Yeah.
Only those are the most important people. If they say something like, "Look, you did something wrong there. You shouldn't put that on your Instagram, or you shouldn't put that on your Facebook." Okay, then I'm gonna delete it, and I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
you'll
do it in
listen
the
to them.
future.
Right, right.
But
I
if
think
they
that's
say
really
like,
important.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
because it's you put something on your Facebook, your Instagram, or your Twitter, and it's out there, and maybe me, I can put something, and my friends and my family know what I mean, but the media could say, what is he saying there?
And then they
And it's
write
gonna
some
put it,
story about you where it doesn't mean.
yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
So those are the situations that you need to try to, yeah, not to don't get those, and that's very important, and that's also what I've been growing in my social media in
Yeah,
those years. I've been in the highest level as a pro football player. So yeah, that's also something that's quite dangerous and could
yeah.
also define your career if you're gonna be a good professional player, or you're gonna be kind of the bad guy, in
Bad
the
boy. Yeah.
football world.
Well, that's a good take on it, because that's not something you would really think about until you become a high level professional. If you're not a high-level pro, then you've not really got to think about what you say. But
No, it's true.
at the upper
Because
levels,
people only see the good stuff, you know. They
yeah,
see
exactly.
we're going on nice trips, we have a nice car, nice house, but
Yeah,
they don't remember that you started when you were 7, 6 years old,
yeah.
and all the sacrifices you've made for the past 10, 12 years.
And for you as well, turning pro at 17, you've been a professional
Yeah,
8 years. That's a long time, so
yeah,
you've
it's
had to
true.
sacrifice a lot, I'm sure. Okay, so there's going to be a bunch that are coming in on the screen. You can know all the comments
Okay,
that are on there. If you just
yeah,
swipe through them, have a look if you can find any good questions, and then while you're looking, I'll try and pull up another one here. I'm seeing a lot of Indonesian flags there. Are you?
yeah. And my mom also put some hearts, I see.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, and
Are your
some
parents
of
in
my
Belgium? Do they live in
yeah,
Belgium? Okay.
yeah, they live in Leuven. I don't know. It's
Okay.
like 50 minutes from. I live in Ghent.
Okay.
It's a nice city. You should come and check it out.
Ghent for sure one day. I'd love to.
Yeah. So also some of my teammates put comments.
Oh, they
So we're
did.
gonna play some Call of Duty later.
Oh,
The
I've got
Indonesian
one.
ones I can't. The Indonesian I can't translate. You know.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
tough.
I've got one here. So while you're looking, I'll just ask you a quick one
Yeah.
here. Who's the best player you've played with and against?
Um. Oof, because I've played it with really great players. I had a chance of playing in Genk with a lot of good players, but I
Yeah,
think for me still the best player has to be Kevin De Bruyne.
yeah, I bet.
Also just because like he was also quite young at the time, and I was training a lot against him because I was playing right back and he was playing left winger.
That's right. He was at Ghent as a
So
youngster, wasn't he? Or
yeah,
Anderlecht or Ghent. Was it Ghent?
no Genk, yeah.
Genk, yeah. Wow.
So I mean, like I was trying to find a way of to defending on him. So
He's a,
sometimes I would try to get like short, you know, 1 against 1, and then he just gets like a 1-2 or gets past you and gives an assist. And then you like try next time, like I'm gonna give him some space so there's no 1-on-1 against situation, and then he just kills it in the top corner or something. So I
yeah,
mean, like every day was for me a challenge, and I was happy about that
yeah.
because
I mean, what a
I
good
rather
experience to play. I've heard interviews of
yeah,
top level players in the Premier League talking about how De Bruyne is just untouchable.
yeah.
He's
Yeah,
6'1", he's fast, he can turn, he can shoot,
he's
he
strong
can
also.
dribble, he can,
Yeah,
he's fast with and without the ball. That must have been so good to play against him at a young age. Did you
yeah.
take anything away from him, from playing with him for that time when you were younger? Did you try and take bits of his game, or how was that?
Especially his quite a technique, you know, like
Oh my God,
the
unbelievable.
basic technique, and he's able to pass the ball and the crosses because I knew I was gonna become a right back, and I needed to get those crosses in. And I
Yeah.
remember he was mostly a player who was rather on himself, but he gave me some tips also by crossing the ball. But
Oh
I
really?
guess I haven't trained enough yet to be able to give it like he does. But
Yeah, his crosses are
maybe,
outrageous from anywhere,
maybe one
anywhere on
day.
the unbelievable. But what a good
Yeah,
person to learn from as a young player. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
unbelievable.
Amazing player. Yeah, but
Kevin De
there's
Bruyne.
been in Genk have been so many great players. Because
Yeah.
like when I got there was also Thibaut Courtois in the goal. You
Wow.
also got Koulibaly, you got there. You got Benteke who was there. You got Leon Bailey, Pozuelo, who's now like the best player in the MLS.
Yeah, he's
So
brilliant. The small guy.
yeah, that
Yeah,
guy.
he's brilliant. Yeah, very
He's
good.
an amazing player also.
Wow.
So a lot of
There's
great
some
players.
serious names you've pulled out there.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've been
Courtois, De
lucky to be able
Bruyne.
to play with them. So
Yeah, for
it's a
sure.
nice experience.
Is this one of your teammates? Is it true that you start a squash career after football? He's
What did he
joking now.
say?
He said, "Is it true that you're going to start a squash career after football?"
And who said it?
M underscore Berkey,
Oh yeah, Marco Burk. Yeah,
Mirko Berkey. Is he one of your teammates?
yeah. He left now in the last transfer period, so
Okay,
he went back to Switzerland
that's
because
funny.
yeah, he wanted to be able to play every week or so
Okay,
and change club, of course. And he's one of my best friends. Yeah.
that's
Normally
awesome.
we're gonna play Call of Duty later, so I think he
Nice.
wants me to get out of it. He's trying to annoy us with his questions.
We've only got a few more minutes. I've got 28 questions here that people have asked. I'm going to click this and see what comes up. Let's see. What's the favorite game you've played in?
Um, it's funny that question because I was talking with my dad about it last weekend,
Oh, really?
and I'm guessing my favorite game after of course my first professional game I think was 2 seasons ago where my team is now it's also Waregem and we're playing in the Europa League against Vitesse, Lazio, and Nice. And the away game in Vitesse, yeah, that was amazing because we were 0-1 up, and after a couple of minutes we got like 15-20 minutes we got a red card. Our left back had a red card,
Oh, wow.
so it was a tough game, and it was a stadium where you could close, and it was really like packed and amazing atmosphere, and we played a hell of a game, and I think it was also one of my best games I've
That
played
you
in the
played?
Europa League.
Wow.
So yeah, and then to come off and win 0-2 and go home with the win on the long bus ride back was an amazing feeling, and
It's awesome.
knowing my whole family was in the stand, my mom, dad, and sister, and it was amazing, and to be able to share it with them at those moments, and the stadium
Sweet.
was also very nice, and yeah, it was amazing.
Awesome, man. Right, let me find another one. There's a bunch of good questions here. They're coming in. They're flying in. Um, there's a lot of Indonesia. um, hold on. Let me find one. Wow, there's so many.
Yeah,
What
I
what are
was
your
also looking.
what are your thoughts of me trying to work my way up from P1 to the Jupiler Pro League? And there's another one. How can I improve as a right back?
Okay, so the first one was P1 2 Triple Pro League.
Yeah, how can I try and make the grade? Or let's answer it like this. What are the biggest differences between the Pro League and the one below,
Yeah.
do you think? Obviously, they're probably small, but what do you think the biggest differences are?
Um, I think physically also. I mean,
Yeah, the physical side.
I also think yeah, the physical side is one of the biggest point because I remember a lot of technical players, let's say from the Netherlands, came down to play in the Belgium league,
Yeah,
and yeah, and also from Scandinavia, some really talented players who were really the best players in the league in Scandinavia, Netherlands, but
yeah.
physically they couldn't cope with the league, and
The
it's a
physicality.
really physicality, yeah, it's a really tough league, and but for the rest it's a league also who plays football, so if you're in the right team with your technically capacities, then you can also get in the league and be able to play a lot of games. But
Yeah, you can
I
cope.
mean, knowing that you want to come to the pro league, you gotta be also quite strong because it's a tough league and tougher
Yeah.
than a couple of years ago, and I think it's getting better and better every year, every season.
It's awesome, man. So, what do you think are the biggest biggest attributes you need as a right back, and how can players improve as a right back? Well, I wanted to ask you as well. Were you always a right back, or was that a position that you played later on? And did a coach put you there, or where did you first play?
In the youth, I played mostly like a central midfielder.
Okay, so centre mid.
Yeah, central midfielder, and then I started also playing some games in the central defense. So I played a lot of games central defender also.
Nice.
But when I went to Genk and I wanted to, when I got that call of joining the first team, he told me that it's gonna be for right back, and if I wanted to look and if I wanted to go and play on right back, so
If
I
you
gave
wanted
it a
to
thought.
develop and be a good pro,
Yeah,
go and play right back. Yeah.
and without thinking, I just said, yeah, of
Cool.
course.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
he also told me like if you want to be able to get in the league and get in professional, I
Yeah.
think the right back is a position you need to focus on. So that's why I changed when I was 17. I
Okay. Oh, so
changed
you
to
changed at
become a
17 to
right
go and
back.
be a right back. Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
So right before you
So
were professional right back. Wow.
yeah, so I know when I get the question about attributes about being a good right back, it's really difficult because I also had to ask a lot about the situation, how to become a good right back, and
Right.
what
You
I
learn.
what I got the most is being in a good position every time, You
Yeah.
got to follow the game 100%, every minute of the game, every second of the game, and see your position with the back line, but also with the guy in front of you, who is mostly like the right winger.
So tactically, it's huge.
Uh,
You would say understanding the
yeah,
role. Yeah, the tactical side
because
for
like
sure.
when I was playing central midfield or central defender, mostly I was the one who was guiding the team. You know, like
Right.
I'm central defender, I push up. I know the right back, left back, and the guy next to me have to push up too. You know.
Yeah.
Now as a right back, you can't be the one really pushing up too much because yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a big
You've got
gap
to
of
take the
you
advice
to
from the centre back and the guys in
yeah.
the centre of the field. Yeah, I understand. Different.
So yeah, that was quite different, and also finding the right position of receiving the ball, trying to get some to win some time to be able to get a good control and to move on the game.
Yeah.
And nowadays, if you look to football, knowing that the right back needs to be also getting into the attacking zone, giving some crosses. So I
Yeah, I
think
was
those
going to
are the
say that. You know, I watched
yeah
a bunch of your clips, and you look more like a wing back. You know, you get forward a lot
yeah
and get some shots on goal. You've scored a few goals as a pro.
yeah true
It's so important to, I think, know the balance of attack and defense. And obviously, primarily you're a defender, but
yeah
you've got to be able to get up and down that wing and know
yeah.
when to go as well. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So that means also you need to get an engine in your
Oh
body
yeah,
also,
fit.
so to get up and down. So
Gotta keep running.
those are the most elements to be able to get a yeah to be able to be a good right back, I guess, on the highest level.
That's good, man. Let me look for some more. It's 10 more questions come in. Bum, ba, bum. We already covered some of them. Advice for young players. We said make sure you're working hard. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, a lot of flags, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of flag.
It's the best flag in the world. Where do you live?
I'm in California, so
California.
yeah,
Okay.
Southern California, west coast of America. Yeah, I'm English, obviously, but I came here to play in college, and
Okay.
then I stayed and
Yeah.
started coaching and training players.
So you just
I've got one more question for you.
yeah.
What were you going to say though, Sandy?
So you came to work there and to play football, or you got like a scholarship, or
Yeah, yeah, to play. I had a scholarship to play in college.
yeah.
Yeah, originally,
Yeah, my
yeah.
cousin also had it from he's in South Carolina.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
I was on the East Coast for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been there.
Nice, nice.
It was a really good
Cool.
experience for me. I learned a lot, and I love America. Obviously, I stayed here after my college career, so I
Yeah.
like
I
it.
visited only LA one time when my
You have to
cousin was
come back.
living
That's
there.
close to me. That's close. You have to
Yeah.
come back.
Okay.
All right, one more question just on belief and on mentality.
Yeah.
I've spoken to Jack Bay, a couple of pros this week, and mentality came up a couple of times just about how how important it is to believe in your ability because there's always obviously it's a game of opinions and sometimes a coach isn't going to value you
Yeah.
how you'd like to be valued. How do you think personally, how have you dealt with the mental side of the game because you're playing in high pressure games that
Mhm.
mean something? Has your mentality developed as a player, and how do you think that the importance of self-belief comes in from a young age? You've got to have belief.
Yeah. I think the first thing about the like self-belief, um, as a football player, it always has to be there. I got a lot of confidence of my mostly of my dad about like I can play the game good, you know,
Yeah.
I have the qualities to be able to become a good football player. Then when I started to play national team, there was one coach who front of the group just asked me like, "What are we gonna do tonight?" And it was game day, you know, like, "What are we gonna do tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna play a game." And like, "Do you need to have stress for the game? Are you nervous or not?" And I said like, "Yeah, I guess I'm quite nervous." No, but he said like, "But you don't have to be nervous because you play football every day. You know, there's no pressure on it. Just
Yeah.
go outside and enjoy it. You know,
Right.
and that's also you need to just believe in yourself because you are all here because you have the qualities to be here."
That's a really
So
good way to look at it because the
yeah,
game
so that also
ultimately
opened
the
my eyes.
game, yeah, for sure. The game should be all of the preparation is before the game.
Yeah,
You should have already prepared, in training, mentally, physically, you should be there. When you get to the game, it should just be, excitement.
yeah,
Of
yeah,
course you're going to have some kind of nerves, but getting to the game should be more of an excitement than anything else.
yeah.
And
That's true.
that's really
And
good
then
that your coach said that. And
yeah,
that was that in the youth national team or was that Ghent?
yeah the national team under
So that
15.
thing, a
So
national
really
team
in the
coach is
start.
saying that,
Yeah,
so that's a good bit of advice from him.
yeah. And then the mentality is also I think the biggest point in the football world because I mean like where you have to get every time. I mean, the mentality is the biggest thing because
It's
it's
huge.
like how you deal with everything. If you dealing with disappointment, if you're dealing even with achievements you got, it's like, okay, we won the cup with Genk. Like, are you gonna stop now? No, you're not gonna stop. You're gonna try to win it again
Win the
next year.
next one, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and also like there's some moments in the league you're losing 2, 3 games in a row. Are you gonna give up? No, you're not gonna give up. You're gonna work as a team, as an individual. You're gonna work even harder to be
Yeah,
able to help the team. If you're on the bench, a bench player, you need also the mentality to be able to, yeah, maybe work harder, prove the coach wrong when you get the chance.
yeah,
When you're a starter, you need the mentality of trying to be on the pitch as long as possible because the next player is ready to take your place. So
exactly.
mentality comes back in everything, and you need to find the mentality in yourself as a player and need to develop it year by year. And it can help by putting some goals in front of you to be able to achieve that, and even goals every week or every
100%.
training session or every game.
That's really good
And yeah,
insight, man.
a lot of mentality. If with mentality you can win a lot of games, and that's what I really saw in some big games in the competition.
Yeah,
Um, I've seen that because we could have been the better team. We could have been leading 2-0 at halftime, and then and that's a mistake of maybe me of the team. You let it go, and the opponent finds the mentality, and they come back into a 2-2, and then they could even
yeah, the
win the game
momentum.
at the end. So
Yeah,
the mentality is a huge deal in football world, and it's very important to develop it when you're young, even when you're young to now.
100%, man. All right,
Yeah,
Sandy, we're just about there. I just want to thank you for coming on and taking the time out of
of
your
course.
day to come and speak to the people and let me know your story. I wish you the best, man. I hope you can get back to playing as soon as possible. And
Yeah,
again, thank you for
thank
your
you.
time. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, me too. You take care.
Appreciate it, Sandy. You take care of
Okay,
yourself.
see you soon, man.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Sandy. See you.
ciao.
See you, man.
Ciao.